Yes.
Okay, good evening. We're continuing with 3 minutes of Tehillim. We're up to Perek Kuf Chaf, Psalm 120. This is the first Perek in a series of 15 prakim, which are labeled the Shir Hamalos, the songs of ascent, or longing, or as we'll see, yearning, striving upwards. The Radak, in his commentary on the Tehillim, has two explanations in the first Perek when he introduces these Shir Hamalos. He says, number one, is that the 15 Shir Hamalos are corresponding to the 15 steps on Har HaBayis that were between the Ezras Yisrael and the Ezras Nashim, the lower court and the higher court, and the Leviim would stand on each step and sing a different perek on each of those steps. But then he says a second pshat, which I didn't know before, and he says that the malos, the idea of malos is to be malah, to go up, to ascend. So the first pshat is it's going up in those steps. The second explanation he says is this is the malos hagolos sha'asidim Yisrael la'alos Eretz Yisrael. That these 15 steps and these shirim that are ne'amru al lashon b'nei hagolos kulam v'zichar behem tzaras hagolos. These are the 15 progressive steps of the Jewish people that they will eventually go up out of the exile into the redemption, and that's why it fits with the content of the next 15 prakim, which are many of the prakim that we say in the difficult times. We say Shir Hamalos Esayanaya El Ha'arim Mi'aynivo Ezri. We say Shir Hamalos Mi'amakim Krasich Hashem that we just said. Many of the pasuk in the first Kuf Chaf, that the last pasuk in this first Perek of the Shir Hamalos, Ani Shalom, I am for peace, but V'chi Adaber Hima L'Milchama, when I speak, they're only for war. All these prakim seem to have content that is not happy-go-lucky and cheerful. It's about the struggle and the pain and the depth of the sorrow. And what does that have to do with the ascent? The answer is it's the ascent that the Jewish people are going to go through, the progression towards the geula, towards this upward longing towards redemption. I came across an interview with a world-famous author, Susan Cain, and she has a book published a few years ago called Bittersweet, How Sorrow and Longing Make Us Whole. And it's really all about this idea of longing, which is what we just said, that the prakim represent, this idea of yearning, of longing towards redemption. So just quote, short quotation from her book. She says, most of all, Bittersweet shows us how to respond to pain by acknowledging it and attempting to turn it into art, the way musicians do, or healing, or innovation, or anything else that nourishes the soul. Right, it's the idea of transforming that yearning, that pain, that struggle into transcendence and into love, and that's the heart of her book. And she shares a Hasidic parable. I didn't have a chance to look into the original Sipurei Maisim and all the different Hasidic stories, but she cites this Hasidic story that a Hasidic rabbi notices someone in his Kehila who's sort of spacing out. He's not really into it. Maybe he's not, paying attention during the Rebbe's, tish, and he's sort of on the outskirts. And the Rebbe calls him over, and he sings to him a niggin of melancholy or sort of like this yearning type of song. I don't know what the song was. And he says that the man listened to it, he heard it, and then he said, now I understand. Now I understand what you've been talking about all along. In other words, he felt he was on the outside and he doesn't feel the inspiration. He felt he was sort of on the outside of what was happening. But the Rebbe was telling him, my understanding of this story is the melodic way which he was able to express this was he's yearning. He wants to be. He wants to feel part of it. He wants to experience that yearning. And that's really what it is about searching for Hashem. It's about searching for what's beyond us, what we feel when we're outside of it. We feel we don't get it. We feel we're frustrated. That's what, you can hear it in the minor tunes, in the sad sort of melancholy niggin, that this is the yearning that a Jew has in their inner soul. And that's the Jewish experience. And that's why these Shir Hamalos are about ascent. Because yes, there's struggle, yes, there's pain, but we're always striving and yearning for that next step. When are we going to really get there? When we get to the redemption? When are we going to get to the experience? When we're going to reach the future, the geula? And that's the process of turning that pain and that struggle into what she calls, into art, or something that nourishes the soul.